Welcome to the Sacred Rebellion, the space where truth isn't filtered, sovereignty is sacred, and the rebellion is a return to self. This isn't just a podcast, it's a remembering, and we are here to break the trance of comfortability, reclaim our gifts, and rise as the embodied rebels we were born to be. Here we journey with the wild hearts, the wayshowers, and the visionaries who chose their truth over comfort, their mission over their fear, and their soul over the system. This is where the coded ones come to speak, the ones who didn't fit in because, well, they were never meant to, and the ones who turned their pain into power and their story into their medicine. So drop in, take a breath, and let's remember who we are, one sacred rebellion at a time. Welcome back to the Sacred Rebellion, the space where sovereignty leads, systems are questioned, and the cosmic truth, it always finds its way home. Today's guest is a perfect fusion of soul, spotlight, and the Sacred Rebellion. Ellie Lee is a powerhouse on-camera host, actress, and mystical coach of oneness who graced platforms like E! News, MTV, VH1, The Wendy Williams Show, Complex, and iHeartRadio. From red carpet to celebrity interviews with icons like BTS and J.Lo, she spent over a decade mastering the art of presence, performance, and power on screen. But behind the glamour was a soul aching for something deeper. And when interviewing celebrities no longer fed her spirit, Ellie answered the call to heal, awaken, and arise. And now Ellie is a mystic coach of oneness at the Masters of Self University, guiding others through shadow work, inner child healing, and quantum transformation using the 20 universal ways of oneness. Her work helps people go beyond mindset and step into full energetic mastery by transmuting the core wounds that create cycles of sabotage and suffering. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Let's just jump into it. You've had such a successful on-camera career. What was the moment you realized, take us back to that time when you were like, there's got to be something deeper here. What is it?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've spent the majority of my life in my teens and my 20s and my early 30s really just chasing a dream of wanting to be in the spotlight, wanting to be on camera. I mean, it's definitely an imprint in my soul of being on stage, having a mic in my hand. It's definitely something that's in there. And I've always been kind of entranced by Hollywood, not understanding and knowing why I was, but I was always really drawn to it. And so I kind of went for it full throttle. And probably by 33 or 32, I was like getting tired of it. I wasn't feeding my soul and I didn't know any other way how to be or like what to go after or anything like that. And so I signed a huge contract for a show in LA and I came and everything fell apart. And that's when I hit the rock bottom of all rock bottoms. And I was like, this isn't sustainable. I'm mentally and emotionally very sick and I need to start really doing work on myself. And so I started doing inner child work. And that's when I had my first initial awakening. And I was like, okay, I am supremely messed up. And there is an entire journey that I need to go on. And as I started going on that journey, I realized, oh, Hollywood and all that stuff, like that's not where I'm meant to be. I'm here to be on a way bigger mission for humanity. And it starts and it begins within myself. So that's how it all began.
Yeah. Wow. That's incredible. I've had those moments various through my life where it's like, I can't do this anymore. Like, it's just like so pivotal. And you remember, it's like, you remember so, at least for me, it's like, I remember so in detail when those moments are where I'm like, I can't go any further. And and it's like, it's such a specific emotion that is like your body just can't continue. Like it's either I'd rather not be here than continue with this hellhole that I'm experiencing, you
Yeah,
know?
absolutely.
And I can relate to that really, really strongly because, yeah, that's been me multiple times in my life, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think too, now I know that I've always been an empath. I knew that, but like I also know that, oh, I'm a highly sensitive person. And I was around Hollywood a lot. And I mean, I was trying to fit in, but there was no way in hell my being was ever going to fit into that world. And it
Yeah.
was brutal in a lot of ways because I was going against what my soul came here to do and be. So now, thank God I'm out of that. And now I'm actually surrounded in environments and around beings that are just like me. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Community is so important in your awakening experience. And I know a lot of us, that are in this healing experience, star seeds, healers, light workers, a lot of us experience a lot of loneliness. So you're very fortunate that you have community, because I know many people are experiencing that deep, deep loneliness experience.
Yes. And I experienced it for years, and it's integral for all of us
Hmm.
because a lot of what gets lost in the spiritual matrix is that people are so wounded, they're so quote unquote lonely that they go to these communities and they become extremely codependent. I need you. I can't be without you because when I'm without you, I feel all this loneliness. And an actual powerful being goes into loneliness, transmutes it so
Hmm.
that they can become a powerful being. And then when you're at that place, then bring in the community. So then the community not becomes codependency, but no, we're all independent, powerful beings, but we're
Yeah.
here to together in oneness to create.
Yeah, yeah, that's beautiful said. Yeah, I agree with that. And I
Yeah.
think it's nice to have commonality with people. I mean, I have community, I have friends that we don't actually live in the same place, but some of my best friends, like I've met once in my entire life, like, and they're great. Like she lives in Florida, I have another one that lives in Canada, and I've known them for years, and we don't see each other. We don't even talk on the phone every day.
Yeah.
It's like they do their life, hey, how are you doing? Like it's really nice to have those high vibrational conversations where it's like I had a friend the other day say to me, she's like, hey, can I share something with you that I think that you're missing in your experience? And I was like, oh yeah, thank you. And I love that because she has done her work, she gave me the option to have consent, which I think is so important, because I think oftentimes when we are healers, we are, people can put into that ego aspect of like, I know what's good for you. I can see what you're dealing with, but sometimes people aren't ready to hear that and perceive that. And so I think it's important to have community, but it's also really important that you have community, like you said, with people who are in their mission and are in their power, and such a beautiful experience. And yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that for you. That's so
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. And I think too, nobody knows how to honor anybody. What
No.
we do know how to do is, give advice when it's not needed or, not listen when all there requires is listening. It's always let me fix you, let me control you, let me force you. And all of that, what it creates is it's not helping anybody. And
Well,
so we're learning how to honor ourselves. And when we start to honor ourselves, we honor others exactly where they're at and what
mhm.
they need. Yeah.
Mhm. Well, for me, it's like I don't necessarily always want to give advice. Like sometimes it's nice just to like sit and hold space with somebody, because it can be exhausting, like constantly trying to give. And I think
Yeah.
that's really common too with like spiritual healers, is that we have this deep, a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of us have deep wounds of abandonment. And so we constantly overgive to have that approval. And then that creates that codependency,
Yeah.
right? Where if you're actually in your power, you're open to receive, and maybe you do get a download, and you can say, hey, like, are you open to receiving this? Like I did just get this, but it doesn't necessarily mean that someone always wants your advice. Sometimes they
No.
just want you to listen.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
What did
That's
the
it.
shift from media personality to spiritual seeker feel like for you? Like walk us kind of through how that transformation experience happened.
I mean, it's kind of jarring. You go from my life was on set, cameras all the time, red carpets, all of these things, auditions, 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 and then you go kind of into a really quieter life. There's no more cameras, there isn't auditions, there isn't. I'm surrounded by people all the time, grinding and hustling and all of these things. I've spent the last, almost close to 6 years just going in. And there have been many times where an old shadow version of myself doesn't want this life. I mean, anybody that tells you if you're a soul awakening in a very unawakened world is easy, it's not. There is so much to this, and it's very layered, and only people who are walking this path really understand what that means and what it entails. But there's not one moment that I know that I'm not walking exactly what I came here to do. And so I honor that entire old life. I sometimes I watch videos or interviews or I see photos of myself and I'm like, yeah, feels like a whole different lifetime. And I'm living a whole different lifetime now. And I know all of that has prepared me for what I'm meant to do and who I'm meant to become. And so I'm very much in gratitude for all of it. And also, this is what I'm strapped in, like boots to the ground. Like I'm here to
Yeah.
create a new earth. And that starts with me.
Yeah, yeah, because it's the ripple effect, right? It's
Oh
like
yeah.
if you do it, then you can hold the energy for someone else, and then it ripples through, your reality, like friends or family, seeing your life transform in front of their eyes. And there's like a really beautiful magic that I feel like happens when someone sees you kind of going through the transformation of like unhappiness to you're kind of like, I feel like a lot of us often seclude ourselves for a little bit to kind of integrate and like anchor in these codes and anchor in this energy and figure out. I think the biggest thing for me was figuring out what was mine and what was someone else's, being able to determine like, this is not my energy. This is my energy.
Yeah.
And I think that's an important part of this walking this path and like boots on the ground kind of like the aspect is because then you can kind of determine and discern what's yours and what's not. And I think that's a huge pivotal point. And then people see the aftermath, right? Like they see the steps in the transformation and they're like, oh, I want that. But do people actually want that? What have you ever noticed?
I mean, I'll first say this. Nobody likes when someone changes. Nobody likes transformation in someone else because there's so much attachment to who you used to be and what you guys had together. Okay. I don't have any friends left from my old life. I don't have anybody. My family thinks probably all kinds of things about me. Everything has changed in terms of that. And so the ripple effect can only happen when somebody is open to receiving that, right? When somebody is open to you really becoming what you are and then being like, yeah, I want that too. But for me, I think the biggest thing is I am constantly just in surrender of what needs to go and what is going to keep appearing in my life. And it's a it's an interesting road to walk. It really is. It's really allowing yourself to die and say goodbye and not hold on and see all the places where you're attached. And even, on this path, I think too, a lot of people are like, yeah, but this isn't mine. And it's like, we can't really know what's yours and what's not yours until you start really seeing what's yours. Like people don't, my teacher always says like the level of discernment you have is based on the level of consciousness you're at, So the more highly conscious you become, the more acute your discernment will be. But that requires you to do some serious work on yourself. And most people don't want to do the work. Most people want the quick fix. Most people want the love and light bullshit. Most people want to just cruise. Nobody wants to actually work hard. And the truth of the matter is that this path is the warrior's path. Yeah. And if you're not a warrior, you're not going to elevate. And that's period, end of story. And that's why there's so many dark, evil agendas in the spiritual matrix that trick people into going down avenues that will never actually lead them on the path of true awakening, because they feed off of your powerlessness and your weakness and your emotional fragility. So I would say a lot of people don't actually want to do the real work, but the ones that do, now we're talking.
Yeah. Yeah. And you see massive transformation in their lives. Like, I mean, I've noticed, I have had clients that are like, they just pay me the money and I'm like, you're not doing the work. And by month 3, I'm like, yeah, I'm not renewing your contract because this is a waste of my fucking time and your money.
Absolutely.
And I'm not one of those healers that's going to be like, I'm just going to continue to take your money. But if I'm seeing progression, I'm like, hey, like another 3 months would be really helpful for you. And really, like when you do mentorships, and I'm sure you're kind of in the same boat, it's like you need more than 3 months. You need more than just a one-off session. Like you need consistently someone calling you out of your shadow, out of your bullshit. Because, I had a conversation with a lady yesterday and we were talking about like sacred rage, and she said she has like a corner in her room where she has pillows and like a rug and like she has a sacred rage corner. I was like, I want one of those. I'm like, that sounds magical, because it's such a powerful, like you understand the power and the medicine of the rage that brings forward. It's like, it's not fun to sit and scream and yell and like have those deep roaring primal instincts, but the aftermath afterwards. Like, what it feels like, especially if you've done that real deep healing, because deep healing is rage. It's crying in your bed. It's crying in your shower. It's experiencing the human emotion. It's feeling the pain and transmuting and alchemizing it into something medicine. And so your pain moves into your medicine, which is what brings you the uniqueness of you, the frequency of you, like the medicine that you're bringing into this reality.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of just scream and then that's it, right? And people don't understand how energy actually works. If there is rage that's trapped inside of you, that doesn't mean keep it in there and don't do anything about it, right? That rage has to come out. But how are you actually alchemizing that rage now that rage doesn't bleed into the woods that you're screaming into, to the nature beings, to your partner, to your animals, right? And people don't really know what alchemy is. And it's the connection back to your heart. It's the connection back to your soul, to your divinity. And when people are learning how to open their hearts and get out of their minds, that's when true alchemy happens. In the patriarchy in the old earth, we've all been conditioned to sever from our hearts and be trapped in our minds, because parasitic entities know that healing happens through an open heart. But when you trap an entire species in their mind, they're never going to actually heal anything. So we get trapped in the suffering of what we've always known. And so what people need to understand is the calling for now is coming back to being heart-centered beings, which is where energy truly transforms. And like you said, you take something like rage, fear, whatever it is, a lower frequency, the fear wants to know something else. It only knows fear. So what do you bring it? You bring it your unconditional love, your divinity. Your divinity and your soul is what transforms that lower energy into something higher. That's how we dissipate darkness in the world. We must become the light, but we descend into the darkness connected to our light when we do.
Yeah, the shadow.
Yep.
I always tell people your shadow saves you. And I believe, and maybe you can tell me what your thoughts are, but I believe your shadow is just your higher self incognito.
Interesting. Okay, go on a little bit more.
I think the higher self is the shadow in you, and it's incognito, and it wants you to, ooh, I'm getting like full body chills. I love this. The shadow is actually what teaches you your medicine, right? So it's like when you think there's, quote, something wrong with you, and you go through the aspects of your shadow and you go into diving in it, it teaches you your medicine. Well, what does your higher self want you to remember? Your medicine.
Interesting.
So the shadow would be your higher self. And once you strip all of the things away of that shadow and she becomes light, she's your higher self.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that the shadow self is the higher self. I would say the shadow self is not the truth of you at all. It's what we've identified to and attached to. And once you alchemize all of that, you're constantly connecting to what you really are. And what you really are is divine. And
yeah, so the shadow, when it's in alchemy, would be the higher self.
Okay. Interesting. No, interesting. Love it.
Yeah.
Interesting take.
It's not everyone's perspective, but I always tell people your shadow is here to teach you. Your shadow is not, it's like Peter Pan when he would pull his shadow in and he'd lose his shadow. I love, that's kind of like the analogy that I love to use. Just like Peter talking about their shadow, and he's like the naughty one. He's like the inner child that's like spicy, right? And so I always show people, I'm like, your shadow is really just this beautiful teacher that you can either, learn from it and know that those aren't the parts of you that actually are truth, or you can hide from it. Right. And the shadow can run away, and you don't have to actually look at the shadow. You don't have to experience the shadow. But yeah, it's not everyone's perspective, but I have different perspectives. I don't really follow spiritual community. I also don't believe the ego is bad either. So I'm probably not a common person then in the thing. I think the ego is your relay system. It's what you're telling it to play out. And so you can actually reprogram your ego to play out what you want in your reality and program it how you want. It's your mind.
Well, there's no education on the ego. Like everybody thinks that the ego is this and the ego protects me, and all of that is bullshit.
Yeah.
The ego is a stream of consciousness, is a veil of forgetfulness, and our wounds and our programs that we run attached to the ego, and then we identify with the ego, but the ego isn't anything what anyone talks about. Because nobody knows for sure.
No. So what I believe the ego is like, do you remember when I don't know how old you are, but I'm 38. So I don't know. You got to be in your 30s.
I'm 38.
Yeah. Okay. We're the same age. So you remember when we had VCRs, right? So I think the VCR is a lot like the mind. So the actual machine is the mind, right? It's the conductor. It's moving all the parts, right? And the ego is the VCR tape. And you can actually recode the VCR tape. So I actually teach my clients how to recode your mind with reprogramming your ego, and then teaching the divine feminine, hey, divine feminine, show us how this is showing up in our reality with the ego. So yeah, it's a little different than what spiritual community identifies at. But I always tell people, I'm like, touch your heart and ask your ego if it's bad. And they always get to know.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's not, it's what is the stuff that's attached to the ego that you need to heal?
Yep. Yeah, it's false stories. And it's because you told it to run those false stories.
And you're attached to it.
Exactly. It's the attachment. Yeah. It's the VCR. You got to have the VCR and the tape, right?
Yeah.
What does shadow work to you, and why do you think it's crucial in real transformation? I mean, we've kind of touched on this a little bit, but I want to hear your perspective.
My teacher always says, in order to ascend, you have to descend. And you have to descend into the darkness. You have to see all the parts of you that have kept you in separation from oneness, because oneness is the only truth that exists, right? It's the truth of what we all are, right?
Yep.
And so in order for you to do real shadow work, it's not like writing things down 3 times or like trying to think your way out of anything. It's what is here that is keeping me in separation from my divinity right now, right?
What is it serving me?
Yeah. What are all of these things that need my presence, need my unconditional love, my patience, my honoring, my loyalty, whatever it is, and seeing all of those parts of you and diving into the depths of the pain. Like this, and you and I were talking about this a little bit too. It's like, I think it's hilarious when I see people in the spiritual community getting so lost in the cosmic sauce. Like, we are here to have a human experience.
Yep.
We are divine souls having human temporary experiences. We came here to feel emotions, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And part of the brainwashing is to make you so emotionally fragile so that you never feel anything. I mean, we are professionals at numbing out and suppressing and drinking and having sex and porning things away and shop. Everything's an addiction, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything is designed so you stay so powerless, you stay so fragile, you stay so weak that you can't handle anything, right? And
Right.
then they pop you with pills and, you know, you numb out even more and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And for me, it's when you're ready to the real shadow work and you're done with suffering, okay, let's learn how to start connecting to your heart and let's seeing everything that's in there that you've hid away, that's in your blind spots, that you don't want to open, that you have completely blocked. It is about becoming powerful enough every single day when you go in to go deeper into yourself, alchemize deeper, alchemize. The more you do that, the more the real you comes online, the more you are becoming
Mm-hmm.
what you really are, which is a being of oneness. But all we have ever known is being beings of separation. And that's an illusion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the amnesia, right?
Yeah.
I watched a reel the other day, and this person is a plant medicine facilitator, and I have my own thoughts on plant medicine, but anyways, and she said, you know, there's a point in your healing journey where you just don't heal anymore. And I was like, that's a great story. God, I mean, if that's really true, I'm ready for that. Like, I want to go there. But I don't think that really, I don't know. What's your thoughts on that?
My teacher says this: you can fully heal everything in this lifetime, but you'll never stop evolving because you're an infinite being. She is someone that is fully healed and she keeps evolving. She keeps elevating. So, of course, that's possible. You can heal every single wound that's in there, but you'll never stop growing. You'll never stop evolving as a soul. And so I think that a lot of people out there, there's a lot of stuff to heal, you know,
Yeah.
and until you get to that place where you know, like, oh man, there's nothing here anymore, I'm just going to keep elevating. We won't know the truth of that until we actually do it ourselves. But
Right.
I 100% know that that's true. You can totally heal in this life. Yeah.
And do you think that's like done just specifically in like plant medicine, or do you think that actually takes like some deep fucking shadow work?
Here's what I'll say about plant medicine. We love to use things outside of us to heal ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. People who do plant medicine over and over and over and over and over and over again, and they mask it as like, it's healing me. No, you're addicted to a drug. That's basically what it comes down to. If somebody is perpetually using modalities and tools outside of them to heal, they're showing their cards. And that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that plant medicine, bringing it in once in a while to help you as you're doing the real work on your fucking self, is beautiful. Yeah, that's oneness. Yes. But
Mm-hmm.
if you're only using that, like there's this really, really big quote unquote spiritual speaker. That's what I'll call him. Okay. I've met him in person. He has a very, very big following. And as soon as I met him, I felt him. And I was like, ooh, that he is not what he preaches about. I could feel that without judgment. I could feel it. I was sitting at a table with him and this woman asked him, so like, how did you do it? You know, how did you get to where you got to? And he looks at her and he says, mushrooms and ayahuasca. He said, mushrooms and ayahuasca healed everything in me. And that's when I knew this guy was a charlatan. And that's when I knew that that's fucking bullshit. And the fact that you're even teaching or talking about that is so irresponsible and is such a lack of divinity itself. And we need to wake up to the truth of that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that does not mean that plant medicine is wrong or bad. It's created for a reason. But
Yeah.
when you abuse it and you use it outside of you to heal you, we've got a problem.
And not everybody needs it.
No.
No, not
Absolutely
everybody
not.
needs it. Yeah.
No.
Like, I mean, I've never used plant medicine in my life. Not that I just think that I've always been so open and, you know, pretty much channeled my whole life. And so I think that for me, it just wasn't like I specifically said, do not, like, because psychic attacks would have been on like, that's
there's nothing. I mean, you're opening yourself to everything to come in.
everything. Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. I'm sure it'd be a wild ride, you know, like, I mean, maybe I'd actually physically see some of the shit that I see in my mind's eye, but you know, I don't know. I've just never been called to it. I think it's really powerful for certain people to use a couple of times, but
Sure.
I don't think 10 or 15 times is necessary.
No, that's a problem. Okay.
Yeah.
I need to take a good look with myself as to why I need to be using this thing that much.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you share a moment when you faced one of your own deepest shadows, and how did it change your life?
Oh my God. I mean, how much time do you have? I mean, listen, you know, I was going to make a video on this on TikTok the other day of like this shadow work journey is so insane because you start seeing how you've always shown up in the world, and it is cringy and it is embarrassing and it's also really sad and it's
Mhm.
shocking because you can't believe that, oh my God, because I had that wound, and this is the way that people saw me, and like this is what I used to do.
Yeah.
And so the biggest one in the beginning of my journey was codependency and needing a man. I mean, that was the biggest
Oh,
one I
okay.
saw. Yeah.
Okay.
The biggest one I saw was the way that I would show up when I would start talking to a guy that I wanted to be in a relationship with. You know, it was this, oh my God, like I want you to love me. I want you to be here with me. I want you to see me. I want you to validate me. And it was all down to, you know, a lot of past lifetimes of abandonment and neglect, but also in this lifetime, like really, really deep rooted wounds around my self esteem, and like never really having any kind of hold or understanding of what or who I was. And that's why I needed a man to love me and to be with me and to validate me. And so that was like an entire year of me working through all of that stuff and just becoming, I mean, I'm a woman. Like, you know, women, we didn't come here to play. You know, we have
No.
sacred feminine energy roaring through us. And now I laugh at the fact that I used to be a wounded little girl who needed a man. Like that shit's hilarious to me, because like, no, I have me, and I don't say that from a mindy place or because it sounds cute. No, you have to become what that really means. That I've got you, that I validate me, that I love me, that I need me to move through anything, that I don't need someone else to bring me anything because it's all right here. It's all within. So yeah, that was one of the biggest ones.
I think that's a common one for a lot of women,
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. Yeah.
I see that with people in my life that are technically single, and they do that, and I'm like, why? You don't need to like throw yourself into a relationship after meeting someone for a week.
Yeah.
You just don't. Like
Yeah.
I've actually never really been like that, but I know a lot of people that are like that, and
Yeah.
it's actually really common. And I actually have coached women in a lot of that, where it's like, I don't feel like I'm pretty enough, or I need lip filler, or I need
Yeah.
Botox, or I need this because I'm not pretty enough. And it's like, no, you need to be able to do some mirror work and like
Yeah.
really own in onto who the fuck you are, because like you're definitely pretty enough. And like someone's always gonna have an opinion about your looks. It's like just kind of how it is. It's like you have to know who you are, right? And
Yeah.
that's part of that. How did training with Masters of Self University change the way you view healing and consciousness?
I mean, I grew up very religious my entire life. I was at church Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm a granddaughter of a pastor. My mom
Wow.
was a very, very diehard Jesus Bible thumper. And so I have a lot of trauma and brainwashing from religion. And the biggest thing that Christianity brainwashes you with is that anything outside of the Bible and Jesus is satanic.
Yep.
Right? Tarot cards, astrology, psychics, that's all devil stuff. That's all Satan stuff. So that's all I ever knew about what spirituality was, right? Crystals, satanic, all that stuff. And so I went through a really big religious trauma in my 20s, and I denounced that God was even real. And I was like, I'm just going to be as earthly as possible, and that's it. And that decision in itself really messed me up in a lot of ways. And
Mhm.
so when I started doing inner child work, I saw 1111 everywhere, and I didn't had no idea what the hell was happening. And so I Googled it, and it said angel numbers, and thus began the entry into the world of spirituality. And so for 3 years, I walked around spirituality, and I thought everything that everybody knew was right. Right. So I was like, oh my God, everybody knows I don't know anything. So
Yeah.
I'll just dive deep into all of this. And so that was a journey for me that I had to go on, of like starting to learn like what's bullshit and what's not.
Yeah.
You know, what are all of like the cons and the scams and like all of these people who act like they're this, but they're not actually what they are. Right. And so for 3 years, I did a bunch of courses. I did the programs. I did women's retreats. I went to spiritual influencer events. I did all of it. And 3 years in, I was like, no, I'm not actually elevating, because I could feel that I was still so wounded.
Mhm.
So one day I said to the universe, I was like, please bring me to the teacher or the program or whatever it is that is going to actually teach me how to heal and how to elevate for real. And one day I was losing it. I was crying in my car, and I put on this podcast called Mental and Emotional Programming. And I listened to this woman speak on it, and my soul shook. And all I heard was, this is it. This is the next chapter of your life. And so her name is Rachel Fiore, and she's my teacher. And I jumped into a 6-month program to be certified under her. And the day that I entered her class, my life has not been the same. I'm almost 4 years into this work, and she continues to keep teaching and elevating and bringing us higher and higher and higher. And it was when I started to learn how to go into myself, how to start seeing every single thing that I run, that I consent to, that I allow to be identified with, attached to, all the inner children that are trapped. And so Master Self University, we're here to create a new earth by becoming beings of oneness. And there are 20 universal ways of oneness to become a being, an enlightened being in this world. And what we teach and what she teaches is new earth isn't a place we take a rocket ship to. I think a lot of people like on social media are like, I'm high vibe, I'm 5D, like I'm so elevated. And it's like, you can feel them. Like she teaches me how to master energy, because that's all anything ever is.
Yeah.
When you start to feel energy and master subtle energies, you can feel bullshit all the time. You can feel people's powerlessness. You can feel all of that. And so the new earth isn't a place we go to. It's what we create individually when we heal everything that is of the old earth. When you heal that, you start walking the path of true enlightenment. And enlightenment isn't sitting on a mountain and like I'm a monk and I meditate all day. No, enlightenment is I walk this planet with all of this and look at the way that I show up in all of my divinity.
Yeah.
And there's work that requires you to become that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always tell people you create your reality, and that really is true.
Oh, yeah.
Like you create how you perceive it. You create how you're
all
experiencing it. You create all of it. And if you don't like something in your life, there's something there. There's a weed. That's what I always tell people. Find the weed, pull it out. Like just, I mean, I'm kind of I'm a typical Scorpio. I'm just like, let's dive balls deep into this shit. Like, let's just go.
Love
let's
it.
Just go into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like not afraid of that shadow. Just move into it. And I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat as you. It's like, I've been doing this for almost 4 years and I'm still pulling shit out. Like I'm still pulling weeds out. Right. Yeah. So it's like so many aha moments. And I feel like in the last week or so, I'm like, whoa, whoa, like, journaling in the morning and getting downloads. And all of a sudden you're just like, huh, yeah, that's a pretty, in fact, this week was expecting the blow. You're expecting the blow. And I was like, yes, that's so true.
Yeah.
Like it's predictable. It's control. It's like you're just waiting for that impact of like disappointment, right? And I was like, damn it, that's a big one. And I don't think I'm alone on that one. I think there's a lot of people that are just like waiting for that impact. And yeah, that was my aha moment this week.
That's a beautiful one. I also feel like the energies have been insane. We had a 777 portal on Monday, and like I can feel the shift in the collective, and I can feel like an individual, a lot of people really just jumped a little bit.
Yeah. Are you a Cancer rising?
I'm not.
You're not? Okay. Yeah, I'm a Cancer rising. And so like we had the new moon in Cancer, and now we have the full moon in Cancer. And I just feel like I've been like whaled since like March.
And what's your moon?
Oh, I'm a Taurus moon.
Okay. So you're double water, a Taurus moon.
And a Scorpio.
Right. Scorpio sun.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. So lots of water, lots of emotions, and very clairsentient. Yeah.
Yeah. Fascinating.
It's like my Claire is clairsentient. I feel everything. And like in my human design, everything is in my human design chart. Everything is defined except for my head.
Interesting. What does that mean?
It means that you're typically, they say that's not really normal, but it means that my head is not defined. So I'm very open, which is why I can channel so easily. Yeah. Got it.
Okay. Yeah.
Where if it's more defined, you're kind of more in your head.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Where mine's open completely. So yeah, I feel everything. And it's been, I always tell people, I'm like, it's the curse of the empath, but it's what I'm here to learn, right? It's what I'm here to learn is to feel everything and learn how to alchemize that and not be victimized by it,
Absolutely. I mean, that's what empaths are here to learn. And it's our superpower.
Yeah. I mean, it's like when you're like, I can sit at a table and I know it's bullshit when I feel it, because you feel it. Yeah. It's like, I don't know it here. Like here, it doesn't make sense. But like, I meet somebody, I'm like, whew, yeah, no thanks.
Yeah.
You offer something called a shadow blueprint session.
Yep.
I'm so intrigued by this.
Yeah.
What is that exactly, and how does it work? And kind of walk me through the process.
So a shadow blueprint session, anybody can book with me. And we do energetic healing. So you come in with a trigger and we just go deeper into it. Why are you triggered by this experience, by this conversation, by this event, by this person, whatever it is. And I take them as deep as they want to go. And then when we get and hit the inner child core wound, we do some energy work around it, and we learn how to open our hearts, and we start to bring unconditional love and whatever that pain needs. And so that's a shadow blueprint session. But when you enroll as a student at Master Self University, the first 3-month course you take is something that I coach. And that's when you start to learn the step-by-step process on how to get to the trigger, down to the inner child wound, and do some healing around it. Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds powerful.
Yeah.
I think inner child work is some of the most sacred work someone can do. I just feel like it's probably some of my favorite work that I've ever done. I really like doing ancestral work too. That's a lot of fun too. But I feel like inner child is just, it makes me a better parent, to be honest with you. It really does. Like, and because of the inner child work that I've done, I feel like I'm able to parent very differently than, like, I have a 13-year-old son. And so how I parented him the first few years of his life is very different how I parented my 8-year-old,
Right.
and changing those aspects. And I think our children are, they're your biggest teachers. And if people who are listening right now have children, I feel like they're not your own, they're not yours, first of all. Likely they probably have an older soul than you do. They're very intelligent. Treat them as an equal. Like, treat
Yeah.
them, the authoritarian parenting style, like, come on guys, we're in 2025, it's gone. Like, be equals. And I think that's where we're moving in that parenting aspect. And so I feel like, I mean, I'm sure my children will have inner child wounds. It's probably going to happen. It's part of learning. But parenting differently, I feel like, has helped me immensely because I've
Mm.
done so much inner child healing.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, inner child work is I mean, I've worked with so many clients, and the transformations that you see is just it's these moments where you're like, "Oh man, this is what I came here to do. This is what I came here to help people with." Yeah. It's been
Yeah.
beautiful.
I feel like it helped me the most with, like, helping regulate my nervous system a lot.
Mm.
Like, it made me more calm. It made me more not so reactive,
Yeah.
not so, like, off the hinge all the time, right? Like, and yeah, I just feel like it really helped, put me more in my body,
Yeah.
because I felt safer.
Mm. Yeah, beautiful.
What are the most common core wounds you see in your clients, and how do we begin to alchemize them?
Unworthiness is probably the biggest one. People not feeling like they're enough
Yeah.
is probably the one that I see across the board a lot. And again, it's the world that we've been brought up in. I mean, if our parents, who are supposed to be our first divine teachers, if they were all healed and enlightened, we would be very different beings right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the truth of the matter is they have all their wounds, they have all their unprocessed trauma, and that's why generation after generation it's been passed on. This incarnation is the one that we say, yeah, no more, we're good. We're here to change all of this. But unworthiness, I mean, I couldn't even tell you how many people just feel like they're not enough, And I mean, this is what we've all been brainwashed to do, especially women. When you talk about these clients, you're like, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not skinny enough, I should get this, I should get that. It's like, it's all designed to desecrate the woman because the woman is a physical representation of the creator herself.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you brainwash an entire gender like that to feel like they're not good enough, I mean, just think about what happens when a woman doesn't feel like they're good enough, or even a man. I mean, the repercussions of that are horrendous. And then they just spread to everybody and everything. And so, yeah, that's the biggest one I would see,
Yeah.
unworthiness.
Yeah. And I feel like even, it was the witch wound that people were afterward. And then it was the women's rights. And it just continues today,
Yeah.
not to, like, get political, but it's just continuing today to desecrate the woman, and not giving women the rights, and not giving them equal opportunities, or, allowing, people to, a man's body is typically stronger than a woman, and they're built different. Their muscle structure
Yeah.
is different than ours. And
Yeah.
we're not meant to do what men do. and
No.
and and it's like, we have, I was telling my husband one day, I was like, yeah, I'm just about to start my cycle. Like, I'm gonna need to eat, like, some red meat. Gonna need to take some naps, like, like, while I'm on my cycle. Like, it's really important that we understand those sinks of being a woman. And I feel like we've missed that. We kind of miss that in not really learning how to follow those cycles of life while using our, like, actual moon cycle.
Yeah. I mean, and look at what we've done to women. I mean, the amount of misogyny, objectification, women are just good for what their bodies look like and
Yeah.
how slutty they are and all that stuff. And then women are so brainwashed by it, they start running misogyny on themselves, objectification on themselves.
Mhm.
And then that's all we are. I mean, that's all part of the plan to
Yeah.
keep us just as objects so that we never actually become what we really are. Because the truth is that women are the healers, women are
Mhm.
the leaders.
Mhm.
And that doesn't mean that men are less than. Men
No.
have a role
Yep.
in oneness with women leading.
Yep.
Period. End of story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting because, like, I see this, and I'd be curious to know what your thoughts are on this, but I've noticed in the spiritual community, the way that you identify as being more divine feminine is how much skin you show on screen. Have you noticed
Yeah.
that?
I mean, that's, you're a part of the patriarchy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you mask it with, oh, this is my power. No, it's fucking not. Like, do you know what divine feminine is? Like, do you know what sacred feminine is? It's not about the fact that you're wearing a skimpy outfit. Like, that has fucking nothing to do with anything.
No.
You're telling me if a 90-year-old woman is disconnected from her power because she's not wearing a slutty outfit, like, it shit doesn't even, there's no common sense. That's what another thing that's been ripped away from us.
Mhm.
There's absolutely no common sense happening. So
No.
in the spiritual world, I see so many women getting lost in that. Naked, rubbing on each other, rubbing themselves. It's like, that is not fucking power. Your sexuality is not your power.
No. No. No.
I mean, I could go on forever, but
I
yeah.
love it. No,
Yeah.
I love it because I think it needs to be talked about. I think,
Yeah.
for me, it's like I was telling another person, I was like, I want to do a full moon ceremony where we go out in the water and like utilize the moon energy to like, dance under the moonlight as sisterhood. But that doesn't mean I want to rub up against another woman, or I don't need to wear lingerie. I don't
Yeah.
need to, I don't need to bring in all of these different, intimacy aspects of myself. No, I'm going to keep that in the bedroom with my husband. Like, I don't need
Yeah.
I don't need to do that in a reality. Like, I can be divine feminine by being soft with my children, speaking my truth, withholding energy, calling out bullshit. That's also divine feminine, like calling it what it is and really holding the energy for myself. And like, that is such a distortion in reality, in our entire reality right now.
Yeah. I mean, sacred feminine, divine feminine is what heals. It's what creates, it's what transforms, it's what leads. I mean, it is complete power of what power is. And all of that other sexual life force and all that, it's just fucking bullshit. And it's tiring and it's exhausting. And it keeps people so trapped and so lost that it's really sad. It really is.
It
Yeah.
really is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. As someone who has helped people build confidence on camera, what's your advice for those who are afraid to like maybe start a social media? Like, how do you get
Yeah.
on and like have that voice?
First of all, when you go to film yourself, what comes up for you? What are the wounds? What are the programs you start running that come up? Because it's a beautiful place for you to see, because a lot of people, as soon as they're about to be perceived, as soon as they're about to record themselves, all their shit comes up. So the first thing that I would say is, okay, great, go into that. Okay. Next thing is, people don't understand authenticity is the new currency. We're going into a world now where it's not about fakeness and how much can I, create this so that you think that I'm perfect and all this stuff. Like, that's not where we're headed anymore, because we're evolving. So being authentic, being true to what and who you are is what is going to captivate people. And if you can't show up authentic, you got work to do.
Yeah.
So go do the work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would agree with that. I've had people that are like, I don't know, I can't get online because I mean, what if this? What if that? Like,
Yeah. What
I'm like,
if?
I've been in my bedroom like with pajamas and like no, I mean, obviously you can't tell I don't have a bra on, but like no makeup, like here we are. Like,
Yeah.
if you're super worried about it, like,
Go into it.
sit down and journal all the thought process, the story. That's what I always tell you. Write down the story that you're telling yourself, and if you can't figure it out yourself, book a session with
Yeah.
whoever that you feel called to. But I
Yeah.
think that it's really important that you really see that. And I think that roots back to worth too.
Oh, yeah. And like caring so much about what people think about you, which is another thing that's so funny. It's like you care about people who are disconnected from their divinity think about you. Like, it's so funny. You know what I mean? It's like, just do what needs to be done. When your soul is calling you to show up, show up. Because we got an earth to create.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What does sacred rebellion mean to you right now in your own life and in your own experience here on planet Earth?
Have always been someone, I've been raised to really go with the grain. I have never been raised to go against the grain. Okay. My parents never taught me any of that. And when everything started happening in 2020, I started to see things that I didn't see before. And I made a decision at that point. I will never be a sheep. I will never just go along to get along. I will never say yes because everybody else is saying yes. I will never be controlled. I will never be forced. I'm not here to be that kind of being at all. That is not who I am. And so for when you talk about sacred rebellion, I'm here to be the odd one out. And I embrace that and I honor that and I rock that. And if I have to lose everybody in my life to be that, then I mean, I already have. So let it be. And it is about detachment from a place of power. And it is about completely sticking by your soul, because you are your soul in every single way, shape, or form, and never going against that just because, your wounded self is showing up and saying, but I don't want to do that. And what do people think about you? Who the fuck cares? And if you care, go in, period. So for me, I will never be what patriarchy wants me to be. That's not what I came here to be and do. So that's what it means to me.
I love that. Yeah. Love that. That's I completely can relate to that 100%. Like me or hate me, I don't give a fuck.
Yep.
Yeah. What's one truth you wish more people knew about themselves?
They are the fractal piece of Creator herself. We have been conditioned to disconnect completely from the truth of what and who we are. And what you really are is so powerful, it's so magical, it's so beyond human and brain comprehension. And this journey is about coming back to that. So that's the one truth that I would want everyone to know.
What's lighting you up right now in your current mission?
I had last night, I coached this class, and there's 7 beautiful beings in that class. And I moved 2 people through some massive stuff, and we did it together. And I had this moment when class finished where I had a moment of like, wow, I thought for a long time that I was supposed to be interviewing people like Beyonce, and like that is long dead and gone. And now I'm really here to just help people come back home. But the only way that I can do that is by constantly working on myself, constantly elevating, constantly evolving. And so this journey that I'm on, it lights me up like no other. I'm here to create a world where no child, woman, sentient being, or animal is ever harmed again, is ever tortured, neglected, slaughtered, raped, whatever it is. Like, I came here to create a world that none of that exists. And so till the day that I transition, I will complete what I came here to do, period. Because I've been here I've been many lifetimes, many lifetimes. I'm good. I get it. I came here to do this, so I'll do it.
Yeah. Otherwise, you'll just come back and you'll do it again.
Yeah, I'm good.
How can people connect with you, book a shadow blueprint session, or what's like for you?
Yeah, so you can find me on TikTok and Instagram at Ellie Lee. I'm sure Michelle will pop that somewhere in the caption. And just click the link in my bio and all my links are there.
Cool. Do you have anything fun coming like soon that you want to share?
No, nothing really fun. I'm a coach at our university. Our fall semester starts in August 26th. And so we're enrolling students now. So come to a free student enrollment meeting and learn all about it. And we'll get you in that semester and we'll start.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us inside the Sacred Rebellion podcast today, where truth is sovereign, healing is holy, and your voice matters. If something stirred in your soul today, don't keep it to yourself. Share it, speak it, and let it ripple. Hit subscribe and stay close. The revolution isn't coming. It's already here, moving through you. Until next time, stay grounded in your truth and rise in your divine remembrance. Have a great day.